Welcome to the Poisoner's Cabinet. I'm Sinead.
And I'm Nick.
And this is your weekly podcast exploring the lives of the great poisoners, macabre murders, and captivating crimes from across the centuries, and creating curious cocktails inspired by the tales that we tell. It's episode 242.
How marvellous.
How marvellous. How are you, Nick?
I'm okay.
You're all right.
I'm all right.
You're all right. Recovered
Another
from your
week.
birthday week.
Just about. It was exciting times.
Many, many birthday wishes from everyone were
Yeah,
sent
indeed.
to you.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's really, really nice to see lots of messages.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. All
Yes,
good.
it was a very jolly weekend it was.
Yes, it has been. And the sun is out at the moment, so we're all happy. Serotonin is kicked in
Yeah.
now. We're like, oh my
Got my
God.
wine.
Oh, you've got your glass of
My
wine.
glass of wine.
That does look tasty.
It's very tasty wine.
I'm not having any wine today.
No.
I'll just watch you enjoy it.
With your gin.
With my gin, yeah.
Yes.
Gin hits me different.
Yeah, but no, I'm sorry. That makes you sound like, oh no, I shan't have anything today. Next with his wine, I'm being good and abstemious, and I'm not. I've got a simple glass of water.
Just a simple
sits there
few
with a
drops of
bucket of
water.
gin.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's just make things clear here.
I wasn't doing it for sympathy, but I'm also doing like, all I have is this simple cocktail made of the most beautiful spirits. But wine looks nice. Wine is nice, but wine doesn't agree with me at the best of times. So, yes.
I mean, it gets you drunk.
Well, too quickly. Too quickly when I have words to read. And it makes editing a bitch. So I want to give myself an easy life. Any poisonings this week?
Probably.
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 There may be a lot of poisonings. You don't know what I slipped into your velvetizer when I gave it to you.
Attention.
Yeah, but you've just been quaffing them. And they are delicious.
Knocking back some velvety goodness.
Velvety goodness is, the velvetizers are worth it. That was he just gave me a hot chocolate.
I did.
And it was lovely. Full of chili, so I'm quite awake now. Well, speaking of poisoning people in secret by giving them velvetizers and being woken up by chili, I think it's time for us to thank our delicious Patreon subscribers.
Absolutely, velvet for all. This week we must say thank you very much to the Wicked Witch of the Swamp.
Hey, the swamp. To Aunt Gordon's finishing school dropout.
To the Antisocial Autiste.
To Jamie B. Irving.
To Brianna Hunt Halder.
And to Feral. Thank you, delicious, sexy Patreon subscribers. Excellent names. Took us on a journey this week.
Indeed.
Oh, we got a whole rabble of rebels. We had fun on Patreon this week, didn't we? Had a nice chat. Well, it was your story.
It was.
It was.
Oh, we went back.
We went back and we continued looking at the story covered in last week's main episode.
Yes,
the murder.
Pamela
Werner, yeah, and looking at some of the suspects and all of the evidence around it. It just got more and more interesting.
More and more bizarre.
There's loads to that story. That was a fun deep dive. And we got into the chat about that one.
Good one to discover that.
Really good. If you want to know what the hell we're talking about, please do consider joining us on patreon.com/The Poisoner's Cabinet, where you get extra episodes from us every single week, as well as bags of bonus content. It's a lovely community where you can chat to fellow Poisoner's Cabinet fans. You can chat to us. We give you updates. It's a really, really nice place for but $5 a month or $15 a month for a higher tier, where you get even more monthly content, behind the scenes content, and a gift pack from us. We also just need to give you a quick update on Patreon for anyone new who is joining. If you use the Apple app to join Patreon, Apple is putting charges on subscriptions to Patreon, which we cannot control.
Yes.
It's a bit complicated. We have set the price of our subscriptions at $5 and $15, but because if you buy your subscription through the app, they just add on this fee. It's nothing to do with us. It's nothing even to do with Patreon.
Yeah.
It is the Apple Store.
It is wonderful Apple grabbing their coin.
Yes. So you may notice a difference in the price. We would recommend exploring it on browsers, on your desktop, rather than through the App Store if you can, or buying things through an app. Just shop around and do a little bit of an investigation, because if you see that the price is higher than we have mentioned, or it's higher than elsewhere, it may be because of those fees. And we want to be completely honest and open with you that this is not something that we're trying to do and sneaking in, and that we've got the prices wrong. If you notice anything, you can message us, but there's very little we can do about it. But I believe there are other ways around it. No, there's nothing we can do around it apart from... Yeah, just Google it through your browser if you use the Apple
If you use Apple. If you're on Android, you're fine.
If you're an Android, you're fine. And yeah, so that may seem a bit complicated, but there are ways around it. But we just wanted to let you know.
And just to add on that, it's only for new subscribers. If you're an existing subscriber, nothing's going to change.
Absolutely.
It's just for new people.
Yeah.
This will affect.
Yeah, no one has to worry about it. If you're already subscribed, you're fine. We also have some shout-outs to do this week. Birthday shout-outs, Nick. A shout out for Mo Keller's birthday. They're turning 26 and say we are their favourite podcast to listen to. So Mo, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to
and you. Nick, you should be jealous because Mo knows that they're getting a bunch of Lego. We're also going to do a shout out on behalf of Pippa to her lovely brother. Pretty pleased with the maraschino cherry on top, she asks. He is Boo Hurt Wookie on Patreon, so our lovely Patreon subscriber. Ewan is his actual name, but his birthday is on the 20th of March. Ewan is responsible for getting Pippa into the poisonous cabinet, and you both leave your sister, a non-listener for now, thoroughly confused when they keep mentioning Nick's BBL and Forkgate. That's some Patreon content that people will understand. Pippa says, love the show, keep up the good entertainment, you keep me entertained on long shifts. Happy birthday, Ewan.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much, Pippa. We are delighted to give you a shout out. Well, Nick, are you ready?
Very loud.
I can be louder.
Please don't.
To drink cocktails and talk about poison.
Oh, go on then.
Oh, would you like to drink poison and talk about
Can I have
cocktails?
some more wine?
You can have more wine. Can I have a cocktail? No. Then what happens?
Wine.
What is wine?
Wine.
The cocktail is wine.
The cocktail's wine.
Okay. Could we go with the first one in theory?
No.
Can I make a cocktail?
You can give it a go.
You can shout instructions at me.
Okay.
Are you rebelling for the first time in 242 episodes?
What was your choice of ingredient?
Yes, it was.
I went with wine.
You went with wine.
Seemed appropriate.
Well, let's aim towards making a cocktail, and we'll see what happens the next 2
I'll put it in a
minutes.
nice glass.
Hooray. It is my story this week, and we can't possibly have a story without a cocktail in hand. As you know, dear listeners, every week we choose a secret ingredient that is inspired by the tales that we tell, and it will flavour our cocktail of the week. So, Nick, this week's secret ingredient is a pope. A pope.
A pope.
The pope.
The pope.
Many popes.
Many popes.
A pope is involved.
Okay.
And we very much hope when this episode comes out that the news has not updated.
He's not very well at the moment, is he?
The actual
Mr. Pope.
Pope has not been. Apparently, he's doing better.
Okay.
Apparently, he's doing better. I mean, it doesn't affect this story. It's not about
It's
that.
not about him, no.
But yes, but maybe our episode will go through the roof if anything happens. But there we go. Anyway, the pontiff is, as far as we know, is alive at the moment. But a pope for an ingredient. Hey,
Yeah.
with that as your inspiration, touch of the god. What have you come up with?
Oh, don't do wine.
Just what? Just
Wine. Transubstantiation. That's what it is. The turning of the...
yes, in the
Yeah,
Catholic
exactly.
Church it is. Yes,
There we go.
yes.
That's popely.
Is that a cocktail? Was that the first cocktail?
Yeah, well, exactly.
Transubstantiation was the first cocktail.
Water into wine. Shake it up a bit. Hey, there we go.
Well, it wasn't really water into wine. Transubstantiation is the body and the blood of Christ.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
It's
blood
not
of
the
Christ.
same. It's not like there's the wedding in Galilee.
Yeah, no, what? You said water into wine. You're confusing me.
I didn't. You
Wine
said it.
wine into the blood.
Wine into the blood.
Yes, see, popely things.
Oh, it wasn't the wedding at Galilee. It was the wedding at
Cana.
Cana. All right, fucking god boy.
Anyway, it's not that.
It's
Anyway.
not that. So are we having blood? Are we having wine? Are we having the Lord himself?
Yes.
All of that in one big mixer.
Yeah.
Good.
I'll stick some blood in there. It's fine. That's what makes it a cocktail.
What's happened to you? One glass of wine and you have gone feral.
Fine, we'll have something different then.
Is it because you've been indoors all day?
I've not gone out. I'm not speaking to him. Ah.
You haven't spoken to anyone. I came in and it was like a sauna in here as well. And you were like, is it hot? I'm like, yeah, Nick. It's like you've been on the continent on the wine.
My brain's
for the day.
cooked.
Right. So all that's out of your system. Much like the blood of the Lord. What might we actually be having?
Actually, we're going to have a Holy Trinity.
A Holy Trinity. Very good, very Catholic.
Very Catholic.
Very nice.
Very popely.
Very popely. I like it. Anyone who's not religious or was not raised in the Catholic faith is going, what?
Or just generally Christian.
Christian.
Yeah.
You have the Trinity though, don't
Yes.
you? Yes, I know you have the Trinity, but you don't have you have bits of it that we have.
But bits of it.
Well, there's different bits in the Catholic
Yes.
faith. You don't have transubstantiation, do
No.
you? No. So I don't know whether
That's
cut that
just
off.
mad.
Yeah, because that's mad. That's mad. The Trinity is perfectly acceptable.
Yes.
3 but 1.
No, we only have the two.
You only have the 2.
Yeah.
Who don't you have?
Of course we don't.
Oh, right, but It's like, what? Who have you cut out of the story?
I think we got 4 actually. I think you'll find.
Yeah, you've got some boring Christian Protestant man at the back putting his toaster in the press. Right.
Yes, it's Jesus and the Holy Spirit, and who's the other one?
Mary.
No,
God.
God.
And sorry, why does it Mary? I was bringing the women into it.
And Henry VIII.
Henry
He got himself in there.
did.
Church of England.
Really? You've got Henry VIII.
The Holy
Like-
Quadrilogy. That's what it is.
Sounds just a bit weird now, isn't it? It's a weird party vibe. Right, good. So we're having the Holy Trinity. I'm worried for us, but excited. I think it is high time for us to walk solemnly, prayer-like, into the Poisoner's Cabinet kitchen and shake up a storm. So we'll see you in a minute.
We'll see you in a bit.
And we're back.
Hello.
So, Nick, the Holy Trinity. It looks very nice. It's a brownish.
Brownish. It's got
Brown.
a browny
It's
hue.
verging on brown. Is it verging on brown or is it more amber? More of an amber.
Let's go with an ambery sort of
An
colour.
amber hue. Okay, well that is encouraging. Maybe.
We'll find out.
All right. Why are you looking at me like that? What?
No, I have a feeling. I don't know. I'm intrigued.
You have a feeling?
I have a feeling.
Okay. A good one or a bad one?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I think it might be a bit sweet, but I don't know. I haven't tried it.
Oh, all right. All right. Well, let's dive in. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. That is sweet. It's not bad though.
No.
What the fuck's going on there? Yeah.
It's perfectly serviceable.
Yeah. It's odd. I don't know how to describe
Yeah.
that. It's not at all like a red hook, but it's close to it.
Not in the slightest.
No.
It's a similar colour.
It's like it, except that it's not in any way. But it's got a kind of a sweetness to it.
It has got a sweetness to
And
it,
it's
yes.
spirit forward.
Yes, I'll give you that. Yes.
Those two things.
Those two things.
Good.
It's a spirit forward drink with some sweetness.
So I'm going to guess there's no bourbon in it, and there's no maraschino, and there's no red vermouth.
No.
Fantastic. So I'm part of the way there. Jesus Christ, right, second sip. There's something in that. Oh, something's gone to the centre of my brain. Is the only thing I can describe it. There's something there. I'm like, what? Is there cognac in that?
There is.
Yeah. I can fucking tell a cognac. And cognac's quite powerful
It is.
and strong. Yeah. Something twiggy in it. Herbal or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, is there?
Hmm?
Is it the bad stuff? You haven't.
The bad stuff.
Well, it does. It's not turning my eyelids inside out. So it's not green chartreuse.
Not green chartreuse.
It's yellow chartreuse.
It's a yellow
Fucking
chartreuse.
yeah, bitch. But I could. There's something.
Good.
Something there. What's the sweetness though? How many more?
1 and some bitters.
One.
Yep.
What's the sweet? Something. Is it fruity?
Yes.
Ish. Fruity floral. Fruity
Let's go
twig.
more floral than fruity.
Floral. All I'm thinking of are fruits now.
Okay.
All I want to say is banana.
Banana.
And it's not that.
It's not banana.
Orange like orange blossom. Orange. I'm just
There's
going
orange. They're orange bitters.
Orange bitter.
I'll give you that.
I was not
Orange
picking up on the
bitters.
orange. I was saying oranges have blossoms, so it's that.
No, it's not that.
Which it isn't, obviously. Floral. Oh, God. Heather, like the drambuie or
No.
florally, twiggy flowers. What? The elderflower.
Elderflower.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it the cure or the
Yep. The
What is it?
Saint-Germain.
Saint-Germain? Oh, okay. Oh, I did all right there, didn't I?
Yeah. Eventually.
With time.
Yes.
With time,
When
anyone
we
can
worked out
guess.
It wasn't a red hook.
You know, hey, look, give a monkey a typewriter, he'll come up with some cocktails. Oh, bloody, oh no, I'm afraid now, because that packs a punch. That's
Yeah,
like
it does. Yeah.
that is after your glass of wine. Good luck. All right.
I'm not going to speak unless I have to.
No, well, you kind of do have to.
Yeah, and
because
I
it's
think probably after this I will a lot.
good because it's fun. It's a lot of fun we've got coming up. But cognac, cognac, yellow chartreuse, and elderflower cure. So all spirits.
All spirity.
Oh wow,
Yep.
what's the quantities then?
So you've got, it's pretty much 2 ounces of cognac. That's the main body. For 60 ml of that, then you're going down to 20 of the elderflower and 15 of the yellow chartreuse. So
so not that much at
yeah,
all.
so the yellow chartreuse is a relatively small
And
amount.
then stir.
And then stir, bits and bitters, stir, and then, that's it. That's your lot.
Wow, that'll get you there.
Yeah, but the sugar from the sweetness of the elderflower comes through quite a lot. So,
It is.
So if I was to make this again, I might drop that down a little bit.
No, I quite like it the way it is,
yeah.
but yeah, it's overpowering the chartreuse. I think I like it.
I think it, yeah.
I do like it. I don't think I'll ever have another one.
No, absolutely. Yeah,
No.
it's perfectly fine, but I will not be making another one anytime soon.
The weirdest thing I can say about it is that it's on the edge of being too strong. And us who have spirit-forward cocktails all the time, we're like, yay! I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the sugar. Or the sweetness in there just kind of goes, oh, this feels like this will be a headache soon. But I'll enjoy it.
I think that's the overly sweetness.
Yeah, maybe you're right. That knocking down the sweetness.
I can feel that piercing through your skull.
Yeah. That's the thing. Well, with the Holy Trinity in hand, many hands. There are a rowdy bunch. They've got a lot to say, famously. Are you ready for a story, Nick?
Go on then.
Oh, goody, good. Well, while doing my usual random dive into different periods of history to find fun stories, I actually found a series of articles doing recent research about a curious bunch of criminals that we really haven't touched on in great detail on the show. Men accused of murders, poisonings, thefts, fraud, and all manner of weird crimes, and a lot of whom who died dramatically. Yep, Nick.
Okay.
It's time to look at some of the worst popes in history.
Sort of, from the ingredient, I sort of thought, okay, this is probably where we're going.
Well, yeah. So over the years, really, of the show, we have been sent, I've certainly noticed, a couple of stories being sent again and again. And looking at them, it was like, is there enough there? Really, really great stories. And then when I was doing a bit of research a couple of weeks ago for Rome, and I went down that rabbit hole of St. Peter. Remember we mentioned St. Peter on the show? And then I was like, more popes. And I was like, actually, there's quite a bit of history here.
A lot of history in popes.
There is. And there's too much, if anything, to cover on here. But there's a couple of good, juicy stories in here. There's lots of nice facts. There's actually even more that could obviously spill onto Patreon episodes and more stuff. If there's things that we haven't covered in this episode, people can jump in. But I thought it's time. And given what's happening in the news, I was like, well, we may as well get in now.
Might as well do it now, yeah.
Yes, and then we'll have more material later. Maybe not so much. I think he's just not.
I don't think he's been murdered.
No, I don't think he's been murdered. It's astonishing how many modern popes there are conspiracy theories about. And I'm also going to Rome this spring. So I thought, I'd really ruin my chances with the Vatican by doing this episode, because obviously I'd have a chance of being Pope.
Yes. That's how that works.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lottery when you enter Rome if you're going to be the next Pope.
I go to the Vatican, they're like, we heard the poisonous cabinet.
Just fill in this application form and you'll be fine.
As I said, we touched on St. Peter a couple of weeks ago. We've only had one Pope on the show properly. We have covered a Pope before.
Okay.
Do you remember?
No.
Alexander the Sixth.
Okay.
Daddy Borgia.
Oh, yes. I knew there were some Borgia popes. Yeah.
Yes, the Borgia Pope. Borgia Pope. And that is a great episode. And again, I encourage people to go and listen to. It's the end of season 1, episode 52. I was re-listening to that to remember what we'd said about Alexander, because he's a great story and the Borgias are a great story. And there's actually more to the Borgias that I may again cover on extra episodes. Again, not quite main episode, but I'm willing to be challenged. I could pad it out. it was really flipping a coin, because there's another great murder story associated with them, and I'm like, can I stretch this to a main episode? Is it a Patreon? People weigh in with your thoughts on this one. But yes, doing this research sent me down a rabbit hole. Doing a roll call of terrible popes is not as tenuous as you think in terms of finding content for a true crime podcast. It's astonishing how many have committed serious crimes.
Oh, yes.
And gotten involved in all manner of crazy shenanigans. As I said, some have been sent to us repeatedly, so this is going to be a little collection of the favourite stories. A few scandalous popes, a dead pope.
Most of them are dead.
But a very, very dead pope. And a pope with the poisoned ass. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm intrigued.
Indeed. So let's start with scandalous popes.
Scandal.
This was hours of research. You can just read and just go, what the fuck is wrong with the Catholic Church? So much. So much. So much. And I shall state this now. Because we're not going to dwell on it, given that we're dealing with the Catholic Church. Incest and paedophilia play a big part in the church way, way back. So we're not going to go into that. It's there. And it's not even the worst that people draw on, because actually over the centuries they were like, people just did that. Like,
yeah,
lovely.
Fine.
Aside from that horror story, that aside, a lot of popes just had a lot of sex. And we think of them as chaste and celibate and pious. It sort of became the rule after a while.
Afterwards, I think.
after a time. They kept trying to
Stop shagging everyone.
Kept trying to put that in. So you've got popes who had relationships before they became pope, before they were even ordained. And then you've got people who have been ordained and then they still continue to have mistresses or little dalliances. And then you've got full-on popes. You've got the head of state basically shagging who they want and doing a lot of crazy things. There is an entire wiki entry dedicated to sexually active popes.
Nice.
The whole list. So you can go and have a browse on there. Got to keep an eye on them. Got to keep a list somewhere. Because celibacy, as we said, was optional for a long time. We'd like it if you would be celibate. Oh, you're not going to. No. Okay, that's fine. And there are plenty who had children before joining the church, plenty who would have them. Mostly they denied that they were their illegitimate children, but a few, famously like Alexander, the Borgia Pope, no, these are my children. These are my children. I claim them, and they're going to carry on my empire. But yes, some did the shagging while wearing the pointy hat. It's more than likely that there were a few gay popes as well. There's lots of theories.
Oh, likely.
In that, there's lots of accusations that get thrown around when you're trying to get rid of one pope or another, because the papacy and over the centuries, certainly early on, you've got a lot of struggles for power. Yes. The pope is responsible at different time periods of appointing the Holy Roman Emperor.
Well, there's a lot more material power back in the day than there is now. Now it's obviously a very spiritual thing, and there is no actual sort of... Okay, yes, you can control some cardinals.
But you can control the Catholic Church, but you're way up there. Yeah,
but before you had fucking armies at your disposal.
And they would march out in armor.
Exactly. So you could kill many, many people and invade places, and so there was a lot more to be gained by shenanigans.
So that's where you get accusations, and over the years, accusations of anything about like sex scandals they're involved in or any crimes, and particularly the crime of sodomy, as it was at the time, and then referring to they were sodomites, would be thrown out when they had been deposed, or whatever the word is, if they'd been kicked out, exiled, they'd been murdered, to blacken their name. The sort of thing, as we've said before, that everyone was doing, lots and lots and lots. Everyone was doing these things, but as soon as you want to get rid of them publicly, oh no, they did this, oh, it's bad, we don't like it. Exactly. St. Augustine of Hippo, famous prayer, Lord, give me chastity and continence, but not yet.
I've got shit to do first.
The eternal wrestle of many popes be going through, going, no, I will do it, but I need to do more shagging beforehand. So, highlights of the scandalous popes. Pope John XII, truly debauched, devious pope, known as the Christian Caligula.
Okay.
He ruled from 955 to 964. He was said to have turned the papal palaces into a brothel.
Nice.
Because he really did like the sex workers and everyone to have sex around him.
Okay.
He took bribes.
Well, he was out there helping the poor and less fortunate of the ladies.
Inviting them in.
Come into my palace.
Come in.
You'll be looked after.
Bring a friend.
Bring a friend.
Bring several friends. Bring as many people as you
really,
like.
He was religious calling and helping his neighbours.
Exactly. It was that old line from like a film. I think it's Nuns on the Run. How can the Lord save us unless we're sinning? So we have to go on sinning.
Yep.
That's why Catholicism works.
Very true.
There you are. Yes, had the palaces into a brothel. He took bribes to ordain bishops. Common theme, yeah.
Who wouldn't?
And also the number of bishops and cardinals you have, more favour. You know, it's going to be more favoured to different factions and different houses. He fornicated with a widow.
Okay.
And he also fornicated with his dad's concubine and another widow. And also his niece.
That's less good.
Less good.
Widow, we could probably do with a widow.
Well, lots of widows, yes.
Yeah, so, okay.
He was in favour of lots of widows. He just, widows.
Niece, less good.
Niece, less good. His dad's playmate. Can I have a go too? Yeah.
Yeah, that's not encouraged. That's less good.
He hunted. That's bad.
Right.
Yes, that was just in there. He hunted. Right, okay.
What, nieces? Widows?
Just riding around the street for widows. Come on! With a big sack.
Don't make everyone sad. Come back to the palace.
He castrated and killed one of his own cardinals. Castrated them first, then killed them. So dragged out. And he would toast the devil with wine and invoked the Roman gods and demons while gambling with dice.
Brilliant.
So not a great
He
pope.
sounds like a grand chap.
He sounds like good fun.
Sounds like fun.
He sounds like fun, but not the best popeliness, as we would see it. He died committing adultery. Yes. Now, he was...
I mean, in the act of adultery.
There are several versions.
Right.
All right. So he was having sex with a lady, probably a widow.
Probably a widow.
Well, no, actually not a widow.
If she was adultery.
Oh, it was adultery. Yeah.
Then she must be married.
She'd remarried.
Yes.
He found out in the middle of it. Well, there's one version that he died of a stroke during the act and paralysis took hold of him and he died rigid. Maybe she told him, I'm not a widow anymore. I've gotten remarried. Not adultery. No. The other version is that the husband of the lady that he was having relations with came home and he was defenestrated. He was thrown out a window. Out the window.
Nice.
Yes, there we are.
Good use of the word defenestration.
Defenestration, yeah. So he was hurled out the window. There's a sketch of it. There's a sketch of that version. Another version that the person who came in was his own male lover in a jealous rage and beat him to death with a hammer.
I mean, he
would
have seen a lot. I can't imagine he was surprised that he was having it off with other people.
Yes. This is a love so pure.
My secret male lover was surprised that I was shagging other people.
Was surprised the Pope was... Maybe he really was surprised the Pope was shagging other people. He thought he was special and went crazy. Or that he had his skull cracked in with a hammer and people went, just chuck out the window and then that'll cover it. The one nice thing for very, very local knowledge, he did appoint St Dunstan as Archbishop of Canterbury.
Nice.
Super local to us. That's where I live. Local. I live in St Dunstan's area.
Isn't his head there?
No, it's Thomas More's head.
Oh, Thomas More. I knew someone's head was there.
I mean, his head might be there too, but Thomas More is a real drawing point. I mean, you can't see it, people. The church literally near my house is Thomas More's head is there. St Dunstan may be there. But no one fucking cares. It's his. He got the name of the church.
He's in the alcove next door going, no one to come see me.
No one comes to see me ever. Other sexy popes.
Sexy popes.
Like you say, sexy is in the sexual things happened and not necessarily.
I'm sure there was.
There were very few hot popes.
What
do you mean? I don't know. Are you basing this on that TV series, The Young Pope? With
Jude Law. Jude Law's a sexy pope.
Is he though? He's not my cup of tea. No.
I'm not fussy.
You're not fussy. You take any pope.
Any old pope.
Any old pope will do.
Oh, you've got a big hat.
Well, these ones, we'll see. Possibly my favourite story, actually. Pope Paul II. There wasn't a second Paul until 1464. So he's from 1464 to 1471. He died of a heart attack, allegedly, because officially he had suffered terrible indigestion from eating too many melons. Too much melon.
I mean, melon's not native to Italy.
I don't know.
Where do you
can get melons,
Where do melons come from?
Well, just hot climate. I've never thought about where you get a melon from. You get a lot of melon in it. I mean, sorry, not of the time, but melon and Parma ham, pretty classic Italian dish.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Where do melons come from?
Is that what you're really focusing in on?
I focus on that.
A conspiracy.
Were they an exotic fruit at the time type thing? And then, they're very exciting, very posh.
And then he ate so much.
I ate so much because they're so exciting and new. But if they were like from the orchard next door, then...
Well, maybe it's just greedy for melons.
Yeah.
Have a Google, because there's an alternative here. Where do melons come from? So maybe he had been given a gift of many melons.
Many melons.
Ate them all, and it didn't agree with him.
Oh my God, melons!
Melons, ate them so much.
Like the crazy pineapple craze in Victorian times.
Yes, yeah.
Was there a melon craze in Italy?
Maybe there was a melon craze. They put a bit of Parma ham with it. They were like, oh my God.
Oh my God. And
yeah.
he ate the lot.
And they exploded. Whereas in the Victorians, they just took that pineapple to represent swinging. Yeah. Or the alternative is that Pope Paul actually died because he was having sex with a page boy and it went wrong.
How does it go wrong and you die? I mean...
Okay, I'm not going to spell it out for you completely, but they were implying that he was receiving, and that somehow killed him.
Well, yeah, man, you still don't die.
You don't know what this page boy was doing.
I mean...
How many melons did he have?
Okay.
It's either the melons or the... Which one's more plausible? I don't know. They're both ridiculous.
I'm not in somebody's...
Maybe they didn't understand. People were like, he had sex with a boy. That must kill you because it's such a sin.
Yes, exactly. And then God struck him down.
God struck him down. Right there. Pope Benedict IX.
Okay.
It was Pope 3 times. Three times between 1032 and 1047. Horrible man. Repeatedly accused of rape, murder, sodomy, violence against many people. Loved an orgy with people and animals.
Ew.
Did everything. Described as a demon from hell disguised as a priest. His life as Pope was so vile, so foul, so execrable that I shudder to think of it.
But they made him Pope 3 times.
He forced his way in.
So obviously he held really good parties. And those cardinals are like, oh, he's a bit of a nutter, but fuck it,
It's a really good party. This is before the time of the conclave.
Oh, right, okay.
So it is, as you said before, battling for
Yes.
supremacy, like sort of being exiled, coming back and forth. He gave up the papacy a couple of times and then decided, no, I want another piece of that. I like parties.
I like a party.
He once resigned so he could marry his cousin. I thought that was the whole point of us becoming Pope. I tell you, I won't live in a papacy that robs men of the right to marry their cousins.
I mean, not uncommon, I think, back then.
No. But he resigned so he could. Yeah, they were like, this is a bit far, mate. But you're also not meant to get married when you're Pope.
Well, this is true, yeah.
Yeah. Boniface, the 8th. Boniface? I like Boniface.
Boniface
Because it's ridiculous. Well, not this guy. 1294 to 1303. Big advocate for underage shenanigans. Really not nice. Had famously said like that having, I'm not going to use the exact wording, having relations with young males was no more sin than rubbing your hands together.
Okay.
Yeah, lovely man. Loved a menage a trois with mothers and daughters. So that's
I'm sure they loved it too.
Probably why he ended up being satirized in Dante's Inferno. He is portrayed in one of the circles of hell.
Nice.
Yeah, lovely man. Julius III, 1550 to 1555, only 5 years.
None of them last long, really, do they?
No. Well, the ones in they sort of call the Dark Age, which would correspond with sort of the Dark Ages. It's just there was a small period actually within that of 100 years or so where there was just a massive turnover of popes every 2 minutes. You know, we'll cover some of it. But yes, 5 years. But Julius, this was actually in the 1500s, so further along, more enlightened. He famously spotted a young beggar in the street called Innocenzo on the streets of Parma, and the young beggar was wrestling with a monkey. He was charged with looking after his master's monkey, and the monkey didn't like him, and he was kind of fighting with him. But Julius was so smitten by the boy that he brought him into his home and he adopted him, and he became his nephew, in inverted commas, and he would later make him a cardinal when he became Pope. And everyone was furious with it, so he had no reason to be a cardinal, had no good instincts, and was a criminal, turned out to be a criminal after Julius's death. He was a murderer and a sex offender as well. So it was just a horrible person, but it was just this weird thing where everyone was just like, stop bringing people into the streets and making them cardinals. His predecessor, Julius II, again in the 1500s, was apparently so riddled with syphilis, thanks to his love of sex workers, had a horrible temper all his life, was known to be really volatile, and it's, well, maybe it was that. But he obviously had horrible signs of syphilis. So syphilis can result in sores and pustules and everything. And on Good Friday, so the tradition was at Easter and Good Friday, you'd come out and you would kiss the pontiff's feet.
Yes.
You would kiss the Pope's feet. The public couldn't do it because his foot was absolutely covered in sores because of the syphilis. And everyone's sort of being shuffled and shoved up there going, kiss the Holy Father's feet.
Kiss the feet.
No, thanks. Crying.
Rather not.
Everyone like going, well, no, I've got syphilis. This is a terrible Easter. Poor people. We did mention Alexander VI on previous episodes, the Borgia Pope, very famous and wonderful stories that you've covered before, and they're always worth delving into further. But the daddy of the Borgias, famed for his many children, his family's war with other households, other powerful households, the Borgias, fascinating family, and their quest for ultimate power and their predilection for poison. So they were great wielders of poison. Lots of myths associated with them. Lucrezia Borgia, not the great poisoner that everyone thinks. Their brothers, absolutely going for it. Who can forget the banquet of chestnuts?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that? Which is also called the jousting of the horse. Not so great. But the banquet of chestnut, I listened back to that where you were trying to explain that to me, of just all the sexy ladies who come out with the candelabras on the floor and he throws the chestnuts down. And then they sexily pick up the chestnuts to give to the gentlemen, and there's veils and silks and stuff. And I wasn't getting that it was an orgy. I was really fixated on the chestnuts. I was like, why are they throwing chestnuts down? He's like, they're having section 8. I'm like, oh, all right.
Chestnutty sex.
Like, just like, but why are the chestnuts? Why the chestnuts? So yes, the banquet of the chestnuts, or the joust of the horse, it was called. That's not my wording, that's his. As I said, another murder case associated with the Borgias, but that's for another time. So those are some scandalous popes.
Yes, they're quite scandalous.
There are many over the years, but those are some of my favourite stories of them. But for all of these crimes, Nick, you might be thinking, where's the justice? Where is the justice? Has a pope ever stood trial for his crimes, alleged or real? Well, yes, one did.
I would say, who's above a pope? Who can pass judgment apart from the Lord himself?
Well, another pope. Very convenient if the pope you're accusing is already dead.
Right. So he took a dead pope to trial.
Literally.
Okay.
There is literally a case of a dead pope being dug up, put on a throne, and being taken to trial.
Okay.
This is known as Cadaver Synod. Have you not heard of this?
I've not heard of this one at
What?
all, no.
How have you not? It's the thing that we're sent all the time.
No, I'm not familiar with this one.
There is a famous painting that was done of it.
Okay.
If you Google Cadaver Synod,
I'm going to do that.
so
right
synod,
this
for people
second.
who don't know, synod,
gathering.
ecclesiastical council, where you're
Yeah.
determining faith, is kind of like a trial, or you can call the synod. If you Google it and look for images, you will find the painting. Let's see if you can see it, and then I'll tell you the story. Don't read the information.
I'm going to look at the picture. Oh, delight! No, I'm not. I'm not familiar with that image at all.
So Nick is looking at an image, and this probably will be the main image I use on the episode on social media.
Oh,
and on Patreon.
he's very accusative.
Yes.
You over there.
Yes,
you
there you
dead
go.
popey man.
It is an actual corpse. An actual corpse. This is the story of how in 897, Pope Stephen VI put the dead body of his predecessor, Pope Formosus, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, on trial in Rome in front of people. He fully did this. So we're in the 9th century, pretty grim time for the church. This is the time where there are many popes in quick succession. It is an absolute battle.
Sorry, give me those dates again. You said 1890 something.
897.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said 18.
It's not in the 18th century.
I thought that's bizarre. I thought that's quite late to be doing those sorts of things.
Well, they influenced the Victorians. We love the dead. No.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yes, the 9th century. 'Tis the 9th century. Lots of popes in quick succession. Far more of a political game than it would be a religious game later, possibly. But arguably, but really, really. Now, to go into the background of it, there's a huge amount of detail, and I think people would really find it quite boring because it's not really the fun part of the story. I'll try and summarise it as best I can. There's violent power struggles between different factions within Rome who should be the Holy Roman Emperor. Yeah. So the Pope has that power to elect based on your household, based on the people around who you are friendly with. The Pope Formosus, so he ruled from 891 to 896. And like others before and after him, he played a role in favouring some for the emperor's role and pushing others away. He really got stuck into the game. Now, he had reluctantly crowned Guy III of Spoleto and his son Lambert. They were joint Roman emperors. These names, don't worry about them necessarily, but it's just that he had
chosen these people.
Chosen those two, but he wasn't happy about it. And what he'd ended up doing is later orchestrated for another to be named the Holy Roman Emperor. It was Arnulf of Carinthia. So these two had been named, they got pushed out of way. So as you can imagine, rivals, no, we're not happy, and he betrayed us, and he should have been on our side. Formosus dies in 896. He is succeeded quickly by Pope Boniface, the 6th, I believe it is, for 15 days.
Okay.
Before he's murdered.
Nice.
Dies, murdered. No one actually cares. Everyone's like, he's probably just been killed.
Probably just been killed,
Get rid of him. Shoved out of the way, because then it makes room for Pope Stephen the 6th. So Arnulf, the one that Formosus had made Holy Roman Empire, dies around the same time. So the path is cleared, basically. The previous pope dead, one's come along, get him out of the way, Stephen's in place. And also the emperor has died, so Lambert Spoleto, the rival, one half of this father-son duo, he's named Holy Roman Emperor. Stephen VII is pope, all good, but they're bitter. They're furious. They're still so bitter at what they see as the greatest slight that Formosus has done to them. And they decide, Pope Stephen decides to orchestrate the Cadaver Synod. It wasn't enough for them to blacken the previous pope's name and defame him and discredit him and saying, oh, well, he did this, he was a murderer and adulterer, and let's throw all these other slanders at him. He wanted to absolutely tear his reputation down. And they wanted to put him on trial and literally desecrate his body. They're going to dig up his body in January 897. The Pope orders that the body of the previous Pope is exhumed from his tomb. Decaying. It's been in there for a few months now.
Yeah,
It's
nice and gooey.
It's pretty gooey. Decayed. They dress him in full papal regalia, as is shown in the picture. Full papal regalia. They bring him in to this church. It's the St. John Lateran Basilica. And they prop him up on the throne. Put him in the throne. Yeah. He's sitting there. And everyone sort of with sticks just sit him upright. There we are.
Prop him up.
Prop him up. Literally. And he faces trial. And Pope Stephen VI marches around in that, as you said in the painting, throwing accusations at him furiously. A deacon was appointed to speak on behalf of the corpse. That is a thankless task, I think.
It's not ideal, but it's good he gets some defence or some representation.
Because everyone's looking at the corpse, and because it was said in some of the writings, the corpse said nothing. Really?
What a surprise.
Really. And also, how much you get into that role if the deacon is just there to go, yes, I agree with everything you've said. Or are they going to try and defend themselves no, this is also wrong. Oh, no, I'm going to die.
Got his hand in his skull going, no.
In front of the assembled synod, Pope Stephen VI hurls furious charges at him and accusations of perjury, violating canon law, of serving as a bishop when he was a layman, and illegally holding the papacy. Corpse stays quiet. Doesn't defend himself. A historian would later write, and taking a little liberties here, but it was a really nice quote. The old man's body, like a monstrous doll, might nod and bend while the attendants supported it, or collapse in a ghastly bundle if they left it alone, but it made no sound. Maybe just sort of shove it and it goes, yes. I'll take that as a yes.
Yes.
Nodding along. At one point, it was said an earthquake struck the church.
Okay.
That the entire church was shaking. Everyone in it is going, oh, this isn't a good sign.
Yes.
This is not a good sign. A report that would later reflect on the case, not from someone who was there and again, who would actually know, but it was written in this very poetic way. The stones themselves, excreting such a monstrosity, then cried out with their own voice by knocking against each other, that they would be more willing suffer spontaneous ruin than that the Roman Church should remain depressed by so great a scandal. Okay. A nice way of putting it, yeah. But again, if there's an earthquake that's hitting the church while you have dug up a pope's corpse, doesn't stop the current pope. He's just going, you did this, answer me, you. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. He's just doing the bits back and forth. Unsurprisingly, Formosus was found guilty of all charges.
Surprise.
I don't know if he got off on one. He was like...
Guilty, not guilty on that one, but guilty on
The people puppeting his head did a really good job. He was like, oh, right, okay, you make a compelling argument. All the acts that he did as Pope were declared invalid. Anyone he'd appointed as bishops or cardinals, illegitimate. So it was all stripped away. His body is stripped of its papal vestments, and then Pope Stephen goes and cuts off the 3 fingers of his right hand, which are the benediction fingers. Benedictine fingers. He stirs that. The benediction fingers which you give blessings. So removing those fingers, his corpse was then thrown in a common grave. Then dug up and thrown in the Tiber.
Then retrieved and thrown somewhere else.
Well, it was later.
Catapulted over a wall.
Twanged into a tree. The trial outraged a lot of people, as you can imagine. This is a bit much, even for all of us. The clergy
even
also...
for 897, this is a bit much.
And we'll do anything, honestly. And also the clergy had all been ordained by the Pope going, no. Really, Pope Stephen VI only had a few months left himself. There was such furore and all sorts of just uproar around this and around at the time that he would later be imprisoned only a few months later in August 897. And in his cell, he was strangled to death.
Yeah, fun.
The next Pope, Theodore II, I believe it was, reversed the findings of the Cadaver Synod's rulings, reinstated Formosus's ordinations, and his body was recovered from the Tiber. So people literally fished him out. They dragged him up with and then he was interred at St. Peter's Basilica. Even later, another Pope, Pope John IX, formally condemned what had happened at Cadaver Synod, making it illegal to put a dead Pope on trial ever again.
Okay.
There you go. So that is the story of a dead Pope who faced trial and was dressed up.
Yeah, in a very fancy hat.
And with all of this Pope chat, I think it's time for another drink.
Oh, indeed.
Nick, we have our drinks. Ooh. Of all of this Pope chat and the scandals,
yes,
There have been a few rumoured poisonings of popes over the years. And as I said, we've covered the Borgias. They had some great ones. Pope John the Eighth, 882. You can see where all the turnover of the popes was. In the 800s. There was a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot going.
He was poisoned and then hit over the head with many, many cudgels.
Nice.
There were rumours of poisonings with other popes, but there's not many confirmed. But he definitely was poisoned and then beaten to death. But I now have a story for you of a poisoning that was not successful, but it does involve, as I hinted at earlier, the poisoned arse.
I'm intrigued.
There we are. We've got to talk about Pope Leo X.
Okay.
Do you know of Leo X?
I can't say I do.
No. Well, this will stay with you.
Okay, good.
It's a fun story. I've got a lot of facts about the past of this pope and the different family members. There's some gross bits, but that's what makes it fun.
Like the gross bits.
That's what makes it fun. So Pope Leo X was involved in what was known as the Cardinals' Conspiracy of 1517. And it is one of the more creative plots to kill someone with poison that I think we've ever heard.
Okay, interesting.
So Pope Leo, I'm just going to call him Pope Leo from now on. He was a Medici. Born Giovanni was his birth name. He was a son of Lorenzo the Magnificent.
Fancy.
Yes, the ruler of the Florentine Republic, obviously head of the Medici Bank. I just love the fact that he was just called the Magnificent. And people do get shit names as well, as will become clear.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
But he had notions, let's just say that. So, yes, head of the Medici Bank, ruler of the Florentine Republic, because it is a republic at this point. The target of many, many assassination attempts. He was involved in the Patsy scandal as well.
Okay.
You know that one? It's too detailed to go into, but it's interesting. Side note, when Lorenzo died in 1492... apparently there were various portents because he was so revered and so loved. He's not a pope. He's just who would be the pope's father. Yeah. He's just of this family. The dome of the Florence Cathedral was struck by lightning. The lions kept at the Via Leone fought each other, and ghosts appeared.
My God.
Just ghosts.
Just ghosts
in Florence. They just turned up and went like, oh, someone's going to die. Various portents, it was that. The lions are eating each other.
The lions are eating each other, some ghosts.
And there's lightning and everything, like, oof, shit's going down. Giovanni was the second son of Lorenzo. He had 10 children in total. The elder brother, Piero, would succeed his father, Lorenzo. So he was expected to take on the role. He would be head of the Republic, look after the bank and all of these things and lead the family. And the family would, obviously have its huge legacy for years later. But Piero did not do so well taking on his father's role, which is maybe why he's known as Piero the Unfortunate.
Nice, like it.
Now, I don't know whether that name was given to him later or whether he was just given it immediately. Unfortunate. Really,
I'm
seriously.
hoping later. Because it's not a good start, is it?
No. And rightly so.
You've not got a lot of faith, have you, Daddy?
On his deathbed. Piero, you should do this. The Unfortunate. I don't have a lot of faith in you. He was right not to, because he absolutely fucked up the Medici rule in Florence in 2 years.
Brilliant.
2 years, he almost destroyed the family's legacy. They would come back, but the family is exiled from Florence. For example, so Lorenzo died in 1492. So 2 years later, 1494, Charles VIII of France launched a campaign on Italy. He wanted to claim the kingdom of Naples. Apparently it was hereditary. He was just going to make his claim for it. He had gone up to Milan, gotten support. He was heading down to Naples, passing by Tuscany and Florence, and expected Florence to support him. And it's like, you're going to pledge allegiance and everything like that.
Troops.
Yeah, we need some troops and you're going to support. And Piero just kind of didn't reply.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. And then did this sort of wussy kind of reply, like, we're neutral. We're not going to take sides. And Charles was like, you fucking are.
Yeah.
Because we're going to fuck up your shit otherwise. And he started sacking parts of Tuscany and fortresses and absolutely decimating the area, going, no, this is what I'm going to do. I've got many, many troops. And Piero was like, no, stop it.
Stop it, please. I'm unfortunate.
Please, no, I'm unfortunate. Oh, this is a series of unfortunate events. He decides to go and meet Charles at his camp while he is moving through Italy. He does not seek counsel from his sort of the equivalent of his government or any of his advisors. He just goes out there, discusses an alliance, and then he comes back and Pierre's like, don't worry guys, it's all fine. I've spoken to Charles and we've agreed that he gets everything. Yeah, he wants several fortresses and some towns, and I've said yes to that, so we're all good, right?
We're all good. He's going to stop sacking things. It's fine.
He is. People aren't too happy about it. So the Medicis are run out of Florence. They absolutely have to flee, and they have to scatter across Italy. Giovanni, who would become Leo, goes further south. He goes to different places he's studying. But luckily, Piero, the unfortunately dies in 1503. He dies drowning in a river while fleeing a battle.
Oh, it's not a good look, is it?
I'm sure that it was an unfortunate event, as befits his name, that there was a massive battle. I tried to look into it, and he's not mentioning it much. He was there.
Apart from he fled and then drowned.
Well, I think they were retreating because it was a decisive win for the Spanish. He had joined forces with the French. The French lost. He was running away and he drowned in a river.
Drowned in the river.
They were retreating and he was one of the ones who drowned. Or the soldiers all just went, fucking kill us.
Either way, it's not ideal, is it?
It's not the hero's death, is it?
Not the hero's death that you want. No.
But he's dead. And everyone's like, thank fuck. Right, the rest of the family are like, okay, Giovanni's in charge now. He's in charge. He will take over as the head of the family in the Florentine Republic. He can get things back on track. He is a better prospect. He always was a better prospect, allegedly, in his father's eyes, for greatness and to take on the papacy as well. His father told him, there was a quote that said he told him to avoid vice and indulgences. Like, don't do what other popes did. Yeah. Famously, they have now.
Stop doing all that.
And he said, this is good stuff to live by. There is one rule which I would recommend to your attention in preference to all others. Rise early in the morning.
Okay.
This will not only contribute to your health, but will enable you to arrange and expedite the business of the day. And as there are various duties incident to.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. All that diary of a CEO stuff, they all say the same thing.
Get out of bed early.
Been said for hundreds of years. Get up early. Get up early.
Get on with things.
So he would be admitted to the College of Cardinals. Weirdly, not ordained, but got admitted to the... You didn't actually have to be. Admitted to the College of Cardinals at Rome at a young age. Has risen to this position. And then on the death of Pope Julius II, who we referred to before, the cardinals were called to the conclave of 1513. And Giovanni has to go. He is a cardinal. He's been in Florence, called down to Rome. He's excited and also dreading the journey. He's not well.
Oh.
He's not well. He's about 37 years old. But he's not well. You see, for a long time, he's been suffering from an ailment.
Oh.
He's been suffering from, brace yourself, people, an anal fistula.
That's not fun.
No. That is... Without going into detail, basically an abscess.
Yes.
Around the anal area. Yes, there. It's just...
Not comfortable.
Not comfortable, yeah. And it's a long, long journey to Rome in those days.
Bouncy... bouncy journey.
Wincing at every turn.
Yeah.
Oh, God. He had to be carried into the conclave in a sedan chair. And apparently he was being operated on during the conclave. Now, the conclave can obviously go on for a couple of days. I don't know if he was in the big room, bending over.
In the Sistine Chapel while they...
Just draining shit. You know Henry VIII, and he famously had the wound on his leg that had to be drained each day? That, but worse.
Yeah.
That.
He's actually got a series of doctors under his frock.
He had his doctors and they were just like, it was said in this really weird way in some of the coverage reports, as it were, that I read about it, that he came in and everyone felt like he's very young and how unfortunate for him. Let's vote for him to be Pope.
Yes.
And he comes out of this as Pope. He is voted in and people going, his youth works in his favour and also, well, he might die. So, scrub him out if needs be. Yeah, give him a go. It's fine. He's 37 as the Pope and his ass drained every day. It's not a good look. So he also then had to be ordained a deacon and then made a bishop and then made Pope because he hadn't been ordained. So they were like, okay, we'll do all of this. But he was, he was a very well-travelled man. He was very well-read. Nice things about him while he was Pope as well. His pet elephant, Hanno. Brilliant. He had a pet elephant, a white elephant. It was said to be white, and he bloody loved that elephant.
Excellent.
He loved that elephant. Songs were written about it. Poems that the Pope wrote in the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford.
Yeah.
Next time you're up there visiting your family, go to there. You'll see sketches.
Nice.
Of Hanno the elephant.
Hanno the elephant.
And The elephant was used in all the great processions and everything, but like his owner, he had a dodgy bowel. Unfortunately, Hanno, at the end of his life, he was about 7. He'd had him for a few years, but he had terrible constipation.
Oh.
So they gave him a laxative with gold.
Okay.
Not a good combination, we feel.
Well, it's going to force things out, isn't it? Just gravity.
Well, it didn't.
Yeah. I suppose on an elephant, it's more sideways.
Yes.
The digestive tract is more across.
More horizontal.
It's more downwards.
More downwards. That's just science.
So, come on, think of these things, people.
So it's just the elephant has a weight of gold in its stomach, and this is not helping.
This is much more uncomfortable.
The poor elephant died. Oh. And you know what? The elephant died with the Pope by his side.
Oh.
Pope Leo was next to his elephant. And that's really touching. And I do.
Until they ripped him open and got all the gold out.
Or I'm just picturing that at the moment of death, the constipation was relieved and the Pope was there. And it's an elephant. So
an elephant.
Like, oh, God.
But it's made of gold. It's fine.
Like, oh, there's gold in there. Oh, my poor elephant. I know. Yeah. And he wrote the epitaph for him. He is below the Vatican. He's buried.
Brilliant.
There is an elephant below the Vatican.
I like that.
Yeah, it's really sweet. He loved his elephant. But despite Pope Leo's love for elephants and poetry and loveliness, there is trouble. He has made enemies, as you might expect.
Yeah, well, that's one word.
This is Italy in the 1500s. Everyone is plotting to kill you. Wherever you look, someone wants you dead. But in 1517, a plot is mounted by a vengeful cardinal, Alfonso Petrucci. I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation, if it's Petrucci or Petrucci.
He's not going to complain.
I'm going to call him Alfonso from this point on, just so I don't get it wrong. But Alfonso, a cardinal, launches this plot to kill the Pope. See, his family, that I can't pronounce, they had been allies of the Pope for a long time. So the two families, the Medicis and his family, allies. But Pope Leo, Giovanni, had been distancing himself from the family. Now, this family are based in Siena. There were battles in Siena. The family were displaced. They were, kicked out of their fortress. They lost some of their stronghold there. And Pope Leo did nothing.
Ooh.
He didn't do anything. And Alfonso, who was a cardinal, takes this very personally.
Yeah.
That his family had been dishonoured. He feels that his noble family have lost their standpoint and the Pope should have been for him, so it'd be much better if the Pope disappeared. According to historian Francesco Giacardini, Alfonso hatched a plan to corrupt the Pope's doctor, to speed up the discomfort and potentially life-threatening effects of the Pope's back passage problems by inserting poison up places.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the big plan.
That was the plan?
They planned, allegedly, to have the doctor squirt poison up the Pope's backside.
Okay.
Or into the anal fistula, to the offending area. Other reports were that soaked bandages in poison to cover up the thing. But a lot of poison was involved.
A lot of poison.
Yes,
Of poison arse.
A lot of poisoned arse detail. Now, whether that was a plot or whether that would later be laying at the door and said, oh no, he definitely had this sort of plot to cover other things. But yes, this was the plot, allegedly.
Intriguing.
The plot apparently involves 3 other cardinals. One of them was the Bishop of Bath and Wells.
Brilliant.
And
The baby-eating Bishop of Bath and
Bath and Wells. And just the Blackadder scene just was playing, your bottom will wish it had never been born. Fun fact, the guy who plays the baby bishop eating of Bath and Wells in Blackadder is Ronald Lacey, who played the scary Nazi in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Nice.
Isn't that crazy? There you go. Any excuse to bring that fact in, but there we are. But yes, several cardinals and also laymen are involved. And Alfonso lays out the plans to his conspirators and says, this is what you're going to do. Now I have to leave Rome. I will leave Rome, but I will tell you instructions by letter. Because of course we want a paper trail of this.
Yeah, absolutely. We want it all written down for everyone to see.
Yep. So there are letters back and forth detailing the poison. And they somehow, with floor plans and diagrams and blueprints and everything of the anal area, get into Pope Leo's hands.
Yeah.
Now, this is again where the story is kind of like, is this a plot to discredit Alfonso? And, he happened to get the letters. Or it's just, okay, well, basically the Pope needs to see this. By the way, he gets the letters and then the Pope reaches out to Alfonso, not letting him know that he knows, and invites him back to Rome. Says, you come and see me. It's fine. We'll hang. We'll have a nice time. Yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. The Pope really is I'm in his favour. Great. They'll never suspect anything. Goes back straight into jail.
Yeah.
Thrown into jail, allegedly with people laughing all the way. Literally, the Pope's aides were laughing, going, how could you be so stupid? This is stupid. The co-conspirators are rounded up, poked with sticks and more pointy shit until the key people confessed. And Pope Leo takes advantage of the situation. He finds the co-conspirators, the cardinals. They will not die, most of them. He finds them lots of money, strips them of their duties, but basically uses it to bolster up his dwindling finances. Yeah. Apparently, he makes around 500,000 ducats.
Nice.
All told, from finding all these people. He also uses it to strip those cardinals of their privileges and appoint 31 new cardinals to bolster support for him. So he does this whole big kind of, like reset of everyone and can publicly punish them. Apparently 2 men who were lay people who were working with the cardinals were hung, drawn and quartered and displayed on a bridge.
Nice.
By the Castel St. Angelo. The only cardinal to die was Alfonso. And he was strangled in his cell on the 4th of July, 1517. And he had a cardinal killed in a very brutal way, but managed to bolster support. Now, as I said, there's debate as to whether or not Alfonso really did put the plan into action to kill the Pope, whether it was a passing comment, whether he was, like many people in the years after, people before, even in the Tudors in England and everything, a chance phrase that was thrown out, I want to kill the Pope, wasn't happy, was said, used, turned, twisted, and it was enough for the Pope to believe he actually has a plot against me, or they were able to go, oh, okay, we can twist this and get an enemy out of the way. But they really went, if it was all made up, they really went quite far, as in they were going to inject poison into his anus.
Yeah, they made a big old plan.
They really did. And there's other theories about that this was the idea about the injecting poison into the arse was made up by them and made out that he was like that, and it was some link to Pope Leo X being gay, and that there was some sort of very weird link there going, he was trying to get his boyfriends kind of like get them out of the way, and they were trying to do terrible things to that area. And it just seems very tenuous. I'm not entirely convinced by that. Okay. But there we are. Pope Leo would go on to have a few issues with Martin Luther, obviously. But that's just paperwork. Whatever happened with Alfonso was taken as word, and the Pope used it very much to his advantage. But no one will ever forget that image.
No.
Of the Pope and his various ailments.
Thank you for that.
There you are. So that is a collection of fun stories about controversial popes, about dead popes, and about poisoning people in very weird places.
Like it.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Learned lots of very random things.
And there are loads of stories about the different popes. Some of them are quite grim, and they're quite short as well, because really with any of them, as I've said, is it all just slander? Or or libel or slander at the time.
They got through a lot of them in that sort of first 1,000 years or so. There was they got through them quick. Yeah, and there's all sorts of theory. There's a whole bunch of conspiracy theories. I'll say it. I don't think we'll ever cover it. In the 50s about John Paul I. Yes.
About how he died. Loads of people weighed in on that. I have no opinion on that. I've not researched it. I'm not really interested in it. But there's other stories. And there's other stories of the Borgias and the various families and the Medicis as well that we could delve back into, because we haven't dabbled there in a while.
No, it has been a while since we've been back that far.
Well, what do you think, people? What do you think of the stories of the various popes? What do you think of the methods that people were dispatched by, arse-based or not? What do you think of the dead Pope trial? Should we dig up more people and get them to answer for their crimes?
We should.
Dress them up.
Absolutely. Dress them up first.
I wouldn't mind that. I mean, it would be disturbing in many ways. And are there more stories of the popes, of the papacy, of the church that we could cover, or of the big families who were involved in some of these scandals? Tell us what you think. Jump on the comments of this episode. Share your thoughts, your feelings, your theories. But most importantly, when you do, you should mix up the Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity.
It's pretty...
I drank mine. You've almost drunk yours.
It's lasted the episode.
It's lasted the episode.
Which is a good sign.
Yeah. Yes, it is strong. Am I going to make another one? No.
No.
So, but yeah, the recipe.
It was very pleasant, though.
It was all right. It was perfectly fine.
That's lasted. We had the drinks break and everything. I actually got water, to be honest. But that's lasted a while. I feel quite nice. It's quite pleasant. Sip and drink.
It's fine.
Yeah, not a bad one to. You're not going to go and cane 6 of them.
No, indeed not.
Don't do that ever.
That would be horribly wrong.
That would, maybe talk to a therapist if you're going to do that. Everything's all right. But mix one up. The recipe will be out at some point.
At some point, yes. I'm very behind on the recipes, and I do apologise. I will get my arse into gear.
Otherwise,
my non-poison pills.
Otherwise, the poison's coming for you, mate.
Yeah.
Do send us suggestions of more stories that we can cover in the future, whether they are compendiums, whether they are whole big cases we can dive into, or stories that we might consider covering on Patreon or on PC Morris. If you haven't already, please consider joining us on Patreon and leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast, because that makes a huge difference to us. Thanks for listening, guys. We have been the people inside the Poisoner's Cabinet. We will see you next week. And remember, your loved ones are trying to kill you.
Bye.